Hi, I'm Christina, travel planner specializing in Disney destinations and mom to two littles. Epcot is my family's favorite park. Keep watching to find out how you can make it your family's best day with littles. If you're considering a trip to a Disney destination, click the link below to connect with me for help planning a stress-free vacation. Let's get into it. One of the biggest reasons people travel to Disney is for the rides. So these are my top rides for little kids in Epcot. Number one, Nemo and Friends. We adore Nemo and Friends. In this ride, you'll go under the sea with Nemo's friends while they're playing kind of like a hide and seek game with Nemo. You're in a slow moving car. It's just really adorable. It's got fun music at the end. It's just, if you've got a Nemo lover, it's a must do. My next ride suggestion is Frozen Ever After. If you have a princess lover, this is a must do. This does typically have a longer wait, so if you're using Genie Plus, I would definitely recommend booking with a lightning lane for Frozen Ever After. The queue is indoors, always a win, and it's themed like Arendelle. So you'll go through Wandering Oaken's Trading Post, you'll see some of those touches from the movie. It is a water ride, and it does have a small drop. So if you have children that are a little bit scared of small drops, this might not be for them, but it's definitely a cute attraction. It is not scary. My next suggestion is my absolute favorite ride in Epcot, Living with the Land. It's silly. I don't know why it is my favorite ride. I just absolutely adore this attraction. So Living with the Land, you take a boat through the greenhouse inside of Epcot in the Land Pavilion. It's slow moving, it is in the AC, and it takes a long time, which is always a great thing with kids, to have them on an attraction and entertained for an extended period of time. This attraction changes with the season. So if you're going during Halloween, you'll probably see some Mickey-shaped pumpkins. If you're going over the holidays, you might see some Mickey-shaped topiaries. It's absolutely adorable. I love this attraction. You learn about the plants that they have in Disney and how they use them. It's just really cool. Another bonus of this ride, it typically has a short wait. I've gotten on it as a walk-on attraction many times. Something to fill the gaps in between your lightning lanes, Living with the Land is definitely it. Finally, my last ride suggestion is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. This is an adorable 4D experience. So you'll board a little rat vehicle. It's a trackless ride system. So you kind of like scurry around, you feel like a rat. And you put on 3D glasses. So it's really an immersive experience. It's really, really cute. There are some surprising effects, which might not be the best for nervous riders. My 2-year-old doesn't mind them at all. Sometimes it scares my 5-year-old, not scares, but like startles her, even though she knows it's coming. We've been on it a million times, but you know, kids are kids. My next tip for planning a successful Epcot day is to think about taking breaks for physical movement. So my kids always need a little bit of running around, even though they're getting a ton of walking and movement inside of the parks. They just need that unstructured playtime, and Epcot has it for you. My favorite place inside of Epcot for play is just after the Mission to Mars ride. It's called Space Base. Mission to Mars, I will never ride again. Do not ride. Hate that ride. I mean, I'm not telling you not to ride it. If you really want to go for it, go for it. Not my cup of tea. Anyways, Space Base after it, definitely my kids' cup of tea. So Space Base is space themed. There's climbing tubes, there's computer activities. It's in the AC. So a great place for parents to sit down and relax for a few minutes and kids to get that unstructured play and their energy out. Like I mentioned, I will never ride Mission to Mars again. You do not have to ride the attraction to get to Space Base. All you have to do is enter through the gift shop. My next suggestion for physical play spaces is after the Journey into Imagination with Figment ride, the What If Labs. So the Journey into Imagination with Figment, totally recommend with littles. It's definitely got kind of like an 80s vibe, but it's nostalgic, it's fun. It's super cute. I would recommend doing the ride, and then after you'll be led right into the what if labs. So here it's all about creativity, imagination. You can lead an orchestra with your hands. There are stepping tones where you jump and you hear different instruments. Overall, really cute experience. There are also meet and greets in the space. So if you check the My Disney Experience app, you'll be able to see what time those characters will be there. In my ride suggestions, I mentioned the Seas with Nemo and Friends. This is in the Seas Pavilion. If you go upstairs after riding that ride, there is an amazing aquarium. There's fish feeding, they will tell you fish facts, there's manatees. It's just a really great space. My kids could literally spend all day there. They absolutely love it. And they can walk up and down the hallways. There's usually not a ton of people there. So it's just a good place to get some calm movement in. Not necessarily a play space, but a good space nonetheless. Journey into Water featuring Moana. So this is an attraction in itself. It talks about the water cycle. It's educational and super fun. You get to interact with water in playful ways. There is a dry path and a wet path. Even the dry path, you're going to get wet. So I would suggest bringing a change of shoes, a change of socks, or going a little bit later in the day when maybe you could use some cooling off or you don't mind having wet feet. But even taking the dry path, there's going to be puddles. You're gonna get a little soggy. It's worth it. In my opinion, it's worth it. It's super fun. My kids love it. I love it. It's great. Another thing to be prepared for to have a successful day in Disney with kids is to plan for breaks. So maybe that means a stroller nap, maybe that just means a quiet space inside where they can have a snack and a drink and cool down. One of the spaces that we really like is inside the America Pavilion. We don't necessarily go into the Hall of Presidents, but the atrium inside of the America Pavilion is nice and chilly. There's lots of benches and seating. They don't mind if you bring a drink. You can just kind of cool down, relax, maybe a good place for a stroller nap. However, there are the Voices of Liberty, which is a phenomenal show. If you haven't seen it, check the My Disney Experience app if you are looking for it. However, if you're not looking for it and you're looking for a quiet space for a stroller nap, check the My Disney Experience to avoid their show because that will definitely wake up your sleeping child. But a great show, you should definitely check it out. My second suggestion would be Inside the Land. I already mentioned Living with the Land is my favorite attraction. So Inside the Land Pavilion, great place to be. There's lots of benches, nooks and crannies where there aren't a lot of people. It might be a good place for a stroller nap if you're looking for it. Some older kids that just need some time in the AC, some time to cool down and relax. They do have a movie inside there called Awesome Planet. It runs 10 to 15 minutes. And it's a good way to be entertained, but also to relax your body and calm down. Another thing to plan for to have a successful Epcot day is food. So my family likes table service restaurants. I know that not everybody's kids, that's not your cup of tea, your kids don't want to sit there, and that's totally okay. If you're interested in table service, I really love Garden Grill. Garden Grill is a character dining experience. You'll see Mickey and Chip and Dale and some friends. This is an all you care to enjoy meal. So it had familiar foods for my children. There was mac and cheese and cornbread and salad. And since it was all you care to enjoy, they ate their weight in mac and cheese and everybody was happy. This restaurant does rotate, which has a really cool atmosphere. You get to see scenes from Living with the Land, which, as I mentioned, is my favorite. So love that. But if you're prone to motion sickness, this might not be for you. I am prone to motion sickness. I do feel the restaurant moving. I don't love it. By the end of it, I'm usually a little bit ready to go, but totally worth it for the experience. If you're looking for quick service, one of my favorite suggestions for families is Sunshine Seasons. I love this because it has something for everybody. If you've got a picky eater, there's food for them. Adventurous eater, food for them. There's lots of different stands within the overall restaurant. It's just great for families. However, they stop serving food at 4 p.m. So this would be a good pick for breakfast or lunch. I tried to go for dinner once, was sadly disappointed. So be sure to plan for that earlier in the day if you're looking for hot food. And finally, my last food tip is you can bring snacks into the parks. So my kids like particular snacks. I don't need to spend all the money for a Mickey pretzel all the time. they are happy with a bag of goldfish on occasion, and then we can prevent those kind of hangry meltdowns when we need to. Finally, my last suggestion is visiting the World Showcase with kids. There are stops within each country called KidCot, and each KidCot station has a little card for kids. It's got a coloring page, it's got fun facts about the country. There's usually some sort of interaction that they do there where they learn a new fact. It's just a super cool experience. You get this little travel Ziploc suitcase and you travel around the countries. And when you collect them all, there is a small prize at the end. So those are some of my suggestions for making the most of your day in Epcot with kids. I shared a lot of information. Don't worry about remembering it all. I have a parent's guide to Epcot below. If you click the link, you'll have a downloadable copy of all those spaces that I mentioned in a handy dandy form for you. Be sure to subscribe for more tips and tricks for maximizing your time in Disney with kids.